Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Today is Thursday, June the 3rd, 2021, and we're just coming to you live today, this evening. We talk about self-directed IRAs and retirement accounts on Thursday evenings. So we want to, dive into that a little bit. We're going to be talking about how you can lend with a retirement account. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that, but there is a way that you can use your funds in your retirement account to lend money. And we want to give some tips and tricks on things to look for and to do if you do decide to consider lending money from your retirement account. It's a very good strategy to get higher rates of return on the money in your retirement account, and to also take more control of your account and use it in ways to invest just outside of the paper assets and stock market. So that's really what this whole self-directed and IRA and retirement account lives that we have are about. It is about trying to get people to think a little bit outside of the box when it comes to their retirement accounts and get involved in some of these real estate deals and opportunities that are out there right now. And they will be coming probably at the end of this month. You're going to be hearing more about what's going on with the forbearance plans. There'll be more data that's going to come out in regards to those forbearance plans, how they've worked out, what the percentages of people that still can't pay. And you'll start to see, maybe some more inventory either on the foreclosure side, possibly, or what we talk about too here on Monday nights is real estate note investing. There'll be some more opportunities there to get involved and be able to help some people based on, everything that we've been through this past year. So I am going to start this off a little bit different. I'm going to start it off actually with a scripture. We're going to highlight a scripture on each of the lives that we do. And just to give us something, to think about when it comes to money and money matters. And that scripture is going to be Ecclesiastics 7:12. So I'll just read that from the NIV version. Wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter. But the advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom preserves those who have it. So the reason why I chose this particular scripture, because it talks about money as a defense. And, we need to look at money in that way, as it can defend you against poverty, against lack. It can defend you politically. There's a lot of different ways in life that money can be a defense. And I know, a lot of people think about money a lot of different ways, and, not judging anyone for how they think about money, but we want to try to bring some of the aspects of money and look at it from a scriptural sense and make people maybe start to look at it differently. And hopefully, if you start to look at it differently, you will use it differently. So it is a defense. It's a defense against, a lot of bad things that are in the world, and it can help protect you. And like it says, with shelter, obviously, if you have money, you can, obviously buy a nicer house, in better neighborhoods. Obviously send your kids to better schools, more quality schools, build up your community. So money is a defense. And I thought that was important to kind of put that out there before we get started, because we are talking about money. And when we talk on Mondays, we're talking about real estate investing. So obviously that involves money as well. So we're going to try to open this up with different scriptures that talk about money. And like I said, hopefully people will start to, possibly look at money a different way and, hopefully make some different decisions and better decisions for themselves based on, what they hear. So that's just a little different twist that we're putting on it. We're halfway through the year, so, I wanted to try and think of something to be a little bit different. And that's what we came up with. So Ecclesiastics 7:12. And what we want to take out of that is money is a defense. Can be your shelter, can protect you. So you have to, try to think about it that way. So with that being said, tonight we're talking about how to be a private money lender with your IRA and some of the tips and tricks. Just a few things for you to think about if you do consider using your IRA money to lend. Now, the way that you will want to do it, obviously, if you have a traditional IRA with a traditional company, with an employer, maybe with a former employer, a lot of times those IRAs are only invested in paper assets or the stock market. So the first thing that you will want to do is maybe move some of the money from a work IRA retirement account, or maybe one that you have with a Charles Schwab or Fidelity or something like that. Move some of that money into a self-directed IRA. When you have your money in a self-directed IRA, you can invest in more things besides the stock market. That is really the only difference. Both of those IRAs, are governed pretty much the same, under the same rules. It's just self-directed means that you just have more control of it. There's no such thing as a self-directed IRA, because even when you move your money to a self-directed IRA company, you still can move it into a traditional, a Roth, a SEP, self-employed plan. You can move them into health savings accounts or Coverdell and education accounts. So those same type of accounts that you get with your employer, you can move them into a self-directed company, but they would be still a traditional Roth and all of those things. So that would be the first thing that you would want to do if you wanted to lend, because you wouldn't be able to call your employer plan and say, hey, I want to take some money out to lend. That goes against their rules and their regulations of what you can do. So, but you can move it a lot of times, depending on how you move it, tax-free or tax-deferred, into an account, and then start to use that money to invest. And one of the ways that we're going to talk about is lending money. Right now, there are a lot of people out there that are looking for money to lend. We are trying to get people to lend money to make certain purchases within real estate. You don't have to be exclusively to real estate, because you can lend your money to people who have businesses. When you have a self-directed IRA, you can use your money to invest in cryptocurrency and things of that nature. But, since what we focus on is real estate and real estate notes, we're going to talk about lending in terms of real estate. But if you do lend your money in something else, you want to, follow some of the things that we talk about, and make sure that you're protecting yourself, and, just take a few of these points in whatever way you want to try and lend your money. So the first thing is you got to have a borrower. Obviously, there are a lot of people within real estate, and that's why we focus on that primarily. But in other things too, people with businesses. Right now, a lot of businesses are struggling. If you have an account, don't know how much money you may have or may not have, but maybe someone has a business. You live in that area, or you frequent that neighborhood, or you have family and friends that live in a certain neighborhood that, there was a business that they really liked and it's not there because of what has gone on. You can take your money from your IRA, once you move it into a self-directed IRA, and lend it to someone to get their business back up and running. Maybe they just, stumbled because of COVID for a couple of months or something like that. And once they can get back on their feet, and now that people are, getting more back out into the public and things of that nature, their business has a very good chance of of getting back on his feet and running how it once did. But again, finding a borrower, somebody that wants to lend. There are a lot of investors out here looking for money for different projects. We look for money to invest in real estate notes and other opportunities, fix and flip, buy and hold type of real estate. So you can find a borrower. And if you need to find a borrower, please reach out to me and make a comment. And we definitely can talk about how we could possibly work together. So the next thing is a promissory note and a security agreement. So what's going to happen is once you find a borrower or somebody that wants to borrow money from you, they're going to, bring you a deal, bring you the breakdown of the deal. And how you protect yourself is that you have yourself a promissory note and a security agreement, especially when it comes to real estate. When it comes to businesses and things like that, other forms of investing, you would just want to make sure that your attorney and the person that you're dealing with, there's some type of an agreement that spells out how your money is going to get paid and what happens if, for whatever reason, somebody stops paying back. Not to, get people worried or anything like that, but you want to have those in place, just to protect yourself. We always got to think about the, worst case scenario. So the way you protect yourself is with a promissory note, and that will spell out how this money is going to get repaid, what interest rate, how many months, and what happens, in the security agreement is what happens if, you don't pay the money back or you stop making payments back. What can you get to protect your investment? And a lot of times that is the property. And as long as whatever you are lending against that particular property, that the value is at a certain amount above what it is that you're lending, you can feel confident that if something goes wrong, I can get this piece of property back. I can then go sell it or do something else with it at that particular time to make sure that my investment is secure. There's really no other investment that I can think of that has that type of, that's backed by a collateral. That's why people love real estate, love investing in real estate, because if anything does go wrong, I can always get the property back. So you want to make sure that you have the promissory note and the security agreement. And like I said, the promissory note is going to spell out the monthly payments, whether they're monthly, quarterly. Some people just take all of the money after 12 months or 18 months or 24 months, whenever each month, whatever accrues in terms of interest. Let's just say you're getting 1% of $100,000 each month. So that's $1,000 a month for 12 months. So you're getting 12% return on your money for however long you lent it out for. So if you did it after 1 year, when that payment was due, it would be getting back all your $100,000 plus the $12,000. So people can set it up like that. Most people do either monthly or quarterly payments just to make sure that the person, is paying them back. And again, once you establish a relationship with someone, maybe you can change those terms. Initially, if you're doing your first deal with somebody, you want it probably to be on a monthly basis, until you can build a good relationship with someone. Then you can maybe change it to quarterly, or you can just collect the money, at the end of the term. And like I said, you want to spell out the interest rate. Once you look at your IRA, let's just say you looked at it for the last 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years. What is your average return? Is it 5%, 6%, 3%? Has it been 10% or higher? I don't know. I know that the stock market has been doing good for, a while now. Some people may look at it and say, I've been getting a nice return. But again, I would say average it out. What is the return that you're getting? And then if somebody can bring you a certain deal that can get you a higher rate of return, backed by real estate, higher rate of return and backed by collateral, why wouldn't you do that? You really it'd be really hard to lose in that fashion. Just making sure that you are investing a certain amount of money as opposed to what the collateral is worth. So, that's really, if you wanted to start lending your money, those are the couple of things that you really, have to think about and get spelled out, and have someone talk to a borrower about that. How is this money going to get repaid? Look at the project that they're presenting to you. A lot of times we try to make sure that we don't have anybody investing more than about 70% of value. This is to protect you. Again, if we can get it lower than 70%, then great. But our max, is just about 70, 75%. Especially in a market like this where, everything is selling over asking price. No matter what the property is, it could be a foreclosure, it could be a brand new house, it could be whatever it is. A lot of times things are selling for more than what they're worth, but you still don't want to get too aggressive, in a market like this. You always want to minimize your risk. So we wouldn't ever try to have people do more than about 75% of the value. Maybe in this market, like I said, we may go up to 75%, but typically we want to keep people around 70 or below, just in case whatever it is that you're getting investing in, that the person, something happens, they run into life, they have a family situation, whatever the case may be, and worst case scenario pops up and you have to get that collateral back. We want to make sure that there's equity in there. So if you, had to sell it, you could get all of your money back. Or what we try to do too is look at about 3 or more exit strategies on any type of real estate investment that, we bring to anyone. So some of the tips and tricks for lenders when lending money is to invest with someone that has integrity and is trustworthy. I would say you would want to build some type of relationship or have them show you previous projects that they may have done. Show me what you have done in the past. Or, maybe it is someone that you may not, you may not have done anything like this with them, but maybe they have other experiences with friends of yours, family with yours that can vouch for that particular person's integrity and trustworthiness. And as long as that you can feel comfortable knowing that, this person is going to do what they say they're going to do, then obviously, you would want to, move forward with them. And then again, you have to remember too, that you are going to be protected in this, especially when we're talking about real estate. You just want to make sure that those protection mechanisms are in place in case maybe you were a bad judge of character, you made a mistake, or the person wind up, not being who they said they were. You still can be protected, with documentation and through the legal system. So, but you want to try and, invest with someone that has, integrity and is trustworthy. You want to consider the state's usury laws. And usury is based on the interest that you can charge for lending money. A lot of states have maximums. They are different. So you want to check with, an attorney or just, within the state. You probably can Google that information and make sure that you are staying within the guidelines of what the state requires. You don't want there to be an issue with that particular loan. You try to go and, get recourse and get something, be able to recoup the money that you put out. And then legally you are outside of what the state requires for their usury laws. Let's just say, I don't know exactly what it is in New Jersey. Let's just say it's 15% and you did a loan at 18 or 19%. And then the person stopped paying. Then you try to go to court and they say, whoa. The state, the law is only 15%. You got something here, 18, 19, 20%. That's outside of it. So maybe you would not be able to recoup everything that you may have been, we're planning on recouping because you're outside of the law. So it's not saying that, that you're going to go to jail or anything like that, but you just want to make sure that you are staying within those limits and those guidelines for each state that you are lending money to someone for. So the next thing is assessing the property value. Like I mentioned, we don't try to get people in anything that is more than 70 to 75% of the value when it comes to real estate. The property itself. We don't want to get people overextended, and then plus two, you want to have some money in there in case certain things go wrong. So even if you're at 75%, that's why you got to be careful going up to 75%, because something goes wrong, you may have to take legal action, and there may be some costs and things like that as well. So we try to keep people, like I said, around that 70%. You want them to show you proof. Show me proof of what this collateral is worth. A lot of times we do that with a BPO. If you want, you can spend money to do an appraisal. An appraisal is much more expensive. It's anywhere between $300 to $500, depending on the property type, to spend that. But if that'll make you feel more comfortable, spending $300, $400 right now can save you a lot of headache down the line, because now you know what this particular asset is worth. So you just want to make sure that you understand, what it is that you're lending money against, what that value is. And you want to stay within that, like I said, 70% or less. And if you maybe after some time, you do this a few times, maybe you can stretch it, like I said, because you're a little bit more comfortable. But in the beginning, you want to stay, about 70%. Use professionals. I try to offer, my services to people as a professional, somebody that's been in and around real estate for a long time. Use professionals, professional attorneys, if you want to use an attorney, professional people within the real estate field, companies. When you do, like I said, do a BPO appraisal, make sure that, these people have a good, solid professional background, and, have the experience of doing things the right way. So, using professionals is very important. You want to close with the title company. Want to make sure that, that they're insuring the title in case there's any issues that come up later after the closing, that your interest in this particular property is protected. If they make a mistake, that's something that the title company has to correct on their own, with their own money. So they make sure that everything, when it comes to having a clear title, no liens against the property that you're purchasing, other than the one that you're putting on because you're lending money and you're in first position. So you know that you're protected. Also, you want to make sure that on the insurance, your IRA is a named insured as a loss payee in case the house burns down. We have, God forbid, another Sandy or something like that, where, a property can get severely damaged. You want to make sure that the insurance lists you as a payee in case something happens, so you can get your money back for this investment. So we talked about, collecting monthly payments. A lot of times in the beginning, that's how you want to start that relationship with someone. And then once, you get more comfortable, maybe you can move it quarterly or yearly, as we mentioned before. And then you always have to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And that's what we do. We try, in the way that we prepare for the worst is that we come up with more than one exit strategy on any type of real estate investment. We say, hey, this is our first strategy. If that doesn't work out, then we're going to go to this strategy, and then we're going to go to this strategy. So we can come up with, 3, 4, 5 different strategies based on whatever is going on with the particular property. And you want to know that. So, something does happen, you don't panic. You don't get yourself, in a frenzy where you can't sleep. You got $25,000, $50,000 out there. You think that, your retirement is lost because all your money is gone. We don't want that. So we make sure that we hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst. And how we do that is by having multiple exit strategies. So if something does come up, we can switch and go to, another exit strategy and make sure that the investment is protected. So that's pretty much it. Those are some of the tips and tricks, and when you're lending with an IRA, things that you want to think about If it's something that you'd like to talk further about, get a little bit more in depth, please reach out. Telephone number is 973-475-8488. And then you can email me at acg@abundancecapitalgroup.com. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Abundant Capital Group. We'd love to talk to you. We're really trying to, get people to use these retirement accounts. There's a lot of money sitting on the sideline. There's billions and billions of dollars in these accounts that people are not using to the maximum, I should say. I know the stock market is doing good now, but what happens, when that gets a correction and things change. So you want to diversify, and hopefully you'll look at, lending money in this aspect with your IRA to get yourself involved in some real estate opportunities that are here now, as well as will be coming in the very near future. So I appreciate everybody's time, and we'll be back on Monday. We missed this past Monday, obviously because of the holiday, but we'll be back Monday, 7:30. Again, we only go about 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll be talking about real estate notes. We break down that, and we look at different segments of real estate note investing. If you go to the YouTube channel, there are some videos on there right now. They usually aren't that long. I think the longest one on there is about 45 minutes because that was a presentation on notes, but everything else is usually a little bit shorter. So hopefully some good information there, and you got something out of tonight. And like I said, if you want to talk further, just reach out to me. And we'll be back Monday, 7:30 p.m. With Real Estate Note Talk. And we'll be back next Thursday with Self-Directed IRA Talk. So with that being said, everybody have a great night and have a good weekend. And we'll talk to you soon.